But have no fear, we have found the answer. The most trustworthy of corporations has announced they are going to selflessly and patriotically secure our elections. Microsoft. The headlines this month have been grandiose and exciting. Microsoft offers software tools to secure elections. Microsoft aims to modernize and secure voting with Election Guard. I mean, could anything be safer than something called Election Guard? It's got guard right there in the name. Anyway, Microsoft is foisting their Election Guard software on us. And worry not that we'll be tied down by having to laboriously publicly debate whether this is what we want or not. No. The election technology is already set to be adopted by half of voting machine manufacturers and some state governments for the 2020 general election. Microsoft describes Election Guard as a free, open-source software development kit. So this idea that open-source code is more transparent isn't really true. And as WikiLeaks proved when they revealed the CIA's Vault 7, when the CIA discovers holes in code, they don't reveal it to the public and say, look at this. They keep it to themselves to exploit secretly. Homomorphic encryption is the only Election Guard security measure named in the press release. So the company setting up the encryption for our elections is a company with a history of helping the US government break encryption. The Microsoft takeover gets even worse. It's not only Microsoft. They're doing it in a partnership with a cybersecurity firm called Galois, which, though it describes itself as a privately held US-owned and operated company, public records indicate that Galois' only investors are DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and the Office of Naval Research, both of which are divisions of the Department of Defense. In other words, while officially a private company, its only investor is the US government, more specifically, the Pentagon. Did you catch that? Galois claims to be a private company. The only investor is the fucking Pentagon. So Microsoft and our war machine are taking over the election system. Mint Press further revealed Galois has a spin-off company called Free and Fair, thou doth protest too much, that creates technology for elections and worked with Microsoft to make Election Guard. Unfortunately, Free and Fair is connected to every form of neocon think tank, government agency, and large corporation. They're especially in bed with the Department of Homeland Security. So what's wrong with that? Well, as Whitney Webb details, before, during, and after the 2016 election, the Department of Homeland Security was caught attempting to hack into state electoral systems in at least 3 states, Georgia, Indiana, and Idaho, with similar accusations also made by Kentucky and West Virginia. DHS, which initially denied it, later responded that the attempted breach was legitimate business. Ah, yes, legitimate business. Anytime someone from DHS says they're involved in legitimate business, immediately duck and put your head between your knees, all right? It's gonna get ugly. Mint Press may have found the other ulterior motive. Microsoft President Brad Smith announced that the company is going to provide the US military with access to the best technology, all the technology we create, full stop. A month prior to that announcement, Microsoft secured a $480 million contract with the Pentagon to provide the military with its HoloLens technology. So right after getting hundreds of millions of dollars from our military, Microsoft partners with Pentagon front companies to develop free software to safeguard our elections. It seems clear the real goal is to hand over our election systems to the military-industrial complex, your friendly neighborhood death machine. The great irony and tragedy here, according to election forensics analyst Jonathan Simon, is that we could easily go the opposite direction and quickly solve all the problems of election security if we got the computers out of the process and were willing to invest the modicum of effort needed for humans to count votes observably in public as they once did. Yeah. You see, There are ways to have a legit election system, and it's not to hand it over to Microsoft and the Pentagon and the ass clowns who make robotic death machines. The ruling elite have no interest in making sure our voices are heard, yours and mine, all right? They want that as much as they want nunchucks to the balls. They don't. If they wanted our voices heard, we would have paper ballots, ranked choice voting, real exit polls, and a fucking president. And a fucking president who doesn't look and act like an overcooked ham and cheese sandwich. It's time to demand real elections.